Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 344. Let's see what shows up here. New week, a new round of expeditions. Always exciting stuff. Get those tokens out of there. So, okay, so let's see what we can jump in on here. We just drafted this Death's Door Thresh in the actual previous trial. So if you're looking for something to do with Thresh, go check out trial number 343. Otherwise, it comes down to either Quinn or Leona. Both of these are fine. I think I'm just going to come in and take the Quinn here. It seems like it's probably been less recent that we drafted Quinn as opposed to Leona, and this is a pretty horrific Leona start, and so I think this Quinn will be fine. So let's take a moment. We'll get her pulled up on the site. If you're not familiar with it, it's ftpbus.com, where I keep all of my expedition related content. And I did get to thinking, with all the salt and such going on with the 2.9 patch, I haven't updated the tier list as far as the 2.9 patch goes. I don't think there's actually any changes to it, and so there probably won't be anything new here until the release of the next expansion. I guess it was the 2.11 patch that the devs kind of said was supposed to be a big one, but they did also say that there's supposed to be expedition changes in 2.10, and so we'll see. As far as the 2.9 patch goes, and for essentially the entirety of the Defenders of the Ancient set, nothing has happened with the tier list, and so I think it's still in a pretty decent spot. There are no changes in the new expansion, other than like a handful of changes to the cards in the Azir Irelia decks, and so not too much going on there. But again, we'll be back over on the Expedition Helper section, or this is also the main page, however you like to get yourself to it. And then we'll just scroll our way down to Quinn, take a peek at Scouted Out. That was Scouted Out, right? Not Relentless. Oh, it is Relentless Quinn. Okay, so nice little switcherooski here. And so this pairs up with Katarina, and is meant to be a way to get some kind of advantage out of attacking multiple times in the same turn. And so, with the scouts, it's pretty obvious. The scouts can attack multiple times. We do have the things like Relentless Pursuit to get rallies. I don't. It looks like the Golden Aegis doesn't live in this card pool. And then on the Quinn side, or on the Katarina side, you're supposed to be using like Katarina herself. You can use Shunpo to get multiple attacks, and then there's just various ways to take advantage of that. The really strong way is with the Legion Marauders, and so the big boys that get the +1/+1 attack every time they go at it. But then we're also going to see things like the support units is kind of the quote unquote historic way that you were supposed to deal with this. And so attack with the war chefs, give a unit +1/+1, and then we get a rally, get to attack with the war chefs again and get that bonus again. And so that's not really something worth pursuing. And so the things that we'll be kind of looking to do with this, if we do build around Quinn, are either A, we'll try to build towards scouts. With that, we'd want to be paired with Bilgewater, or B, we'll try to find some kind of way to take advantage of a Relentless Pursuit, whether or not that is the likes of a what are those again? The Legion Marauders, or if it's something like Sand Soldiers with Azir, we'll try to find some way to take advantage of attacking multiple times. But this isn't like a super strong pool. It does have the Green Fang Warden as far as scouts go, but it does not have the Loyal Badger Bear Maker, whatever the Grizzled Ranger is who I'm looking for here. And so it's lacking some of the scout units to just be a full-on scouts build around, but we'll see what plays out here. But again, yeah, this pairs up with Katarina. Okay, so what are we looking to do with this? Have a handful of options, all that could be good. We could just stay 100% Demacia and try to build towards Fiora. I'm not a huge fan of this. There's no barriers in the Quinn pool. I'm just not a humongous fan of like Fiora these days. I think the way I would be happy with Fiora is like if we started with a Garen, or if we started with a Jarvan, so that we want to be an elites deck and take advantage of the allegiance card, whatever that is, Vanguard Bannerman. That would be reasonable. Otherwise, I don't really want to play with her. Just having the 2 health now has been a real pain. Like we used to be able to with Fiora say like our opponent starts with a just like a 2/3. You know, that's very common. If they play a Starlit Seer or something, you could challenge down the 2/3 without having to use any cards, and then you could just trade her into something else. And so, you know, you didn't have to always take the OTK line with Fiora, but now you do, because just like hooking your opponent's one attack unit and then getting a trade after the fact isn't quite worth it. And so, not super excited to pair her up with Quinn. It can be interesting in the sense that, you know, if your Fiora is getting close to leveling up, you can Relentless Pursuit into an additional attack, but I'm not quite willing to do that. Then as far as these other pools go, I do not like Disruption Darius. This pool is hot garbage. There's nothing in here I really want to be doing, so we can skip that one. And I'm kind of interested in diving in on this Sivir. I don't think we'll really be able to get anything going on as far as like the Azir and getting like an Emperor's Diaz on the board or something goes, but we can try to find things like a the Sandstone Generator, the thing that gives you a 5/2 unit when you attack, or we could also look to find the oh, I felt like there was one other card with Sivir that would actually work out well here. But let's get her pool pulled up real quick. Sandswept Tomb was the card I was looking for that we can take advantage of with multiple attacks. So if we're getting like scouts going and multiple tombs, we can do the same thing with the Diaz, but we have to just kind of actually get it to show up. But as far as this card pool goes, it's with Sivir, pairs up with LeBlanc. It's meant to be a 5 attack matters deck. The way you're supposed to achieve that is with the Rock Bears. So you have the hibernating Rock Bear, you have the Salt Spire, and you also have Desert Naturalist to generate those 5 attack units. I really don't like pursuing that, and then I really don't like anything in this card pool except for Sivir. She's like a really high value champion. She's extremely good, but this card pool is trash, and so we'll see what we can pull off. I'm okay with drafting her. Again, like the only things we're really looking for out of this card pool would be like the Sandswept Tomb and Siphoning Strike. To a small degree, we might be okay with a touch of the Payday theme between Inner Sanctum and Payday itself, but we'll realistically be looking like if we switch over to Renekton for the vulnerable package. This all plays well with Sivir, since she has quick attack, also plays quite well with a lot of the cards out of the Quinn pool, whether or not that is say like Loyal Badger Bear just being a meaty unit, or if it's something like a the Scout. Just all of these vulnerable cards kind of play well with Scouts, but mainly the Scout one with Barrier. So if you get a Scout attack in with your Barrier, good chance your unit's going to survive. And so there's good combos with the various vulnerable cards, and then we'd also be super happy to find something like the 4/3 for 3 mana with Fearsome that gives the exhausts out as well. So we'll see what we can pull off with these. I think this will be a reasonable set with Sivir. Okay, interesting set. And so again, I don't like drafting any of these reputation cards from Sivir. I ultimately worry that if we start to dive too heavily into reputation, we're going to get a ton of these landmarks. And so we can make some usage out of them. I just prefer not to have these in our deck. And then again, things like Ricochet are fairly weak. We're just kind of looking for other Shurima cards. I suspect that we won't draft too many of them here. So as far as the rest of these go, I don't want anything to do with the dragons. We will not be pursuing a dragon deck here. And so the Greenfang Warden and Relentless Pursuit are fine. I don't really like stacking multiple Relentless Pursuits. There's a lot of times this is just a win more card. There's a lot of times where you're behind and this doesn't help you catch up. But you know, knowing that we have two, we might be able to work with it a little bit more. Okay, and then kind of an interesting set. Like if we want these, you know, kind of want these Sand Soldier cards to show up, just in the sense that if we're able to get into this Sand Soldiers attack multiple times with the Scout units kind of theme, then the Desert's Wrath would be pretty good. This is like a pretty high risk, high reward pack here, though, because this Desert's Wrath is going to be absolutely horrible if we can't find some of the supporting cast. And so, like, had we started out with a Azir, then this would be much more tempting, but I think I'm willing to roll the dice here on just this one pack. The Aspiring Chronomancer is pretty good on its own, and then, like, we do really like Grizzled Ranger, but For Demacia is pretty garbagey, and so I don't think this will completely, like, throw our draft off kilter by passing on this Grizzled Ranger. This is a wild pick here, so I think we'll still be seeing scouted out packs and relentless packs out of the synergy picks, but I'm going to really just roll the dice here with the Desert's Wrath and see if we can't piece together some more of these Sand Soldier generators. Okay, if we're gonna keep going, we're going, aren't we? So I don't like Devoted Council, but this second Desert's Wrath should kind of indicate that this Ascension Azir is going to be trying to show up, and this is where a lot of the Sand Soldiers cards live. If you're familiar with the Expedition pools without me pulling things up, there's two Azir card pools. There is Token Attacks that only has two commons in it. It just has the two Sand Soldier generators. And then the Azir card pool is kind of like half Sand Soldiers and half level up your champions. And if this Ascension keeps showing up with the Sand Soldier cards, we might be able to have this pay off. And so I'm going to stack up the Desert's Wrath here. Okay, and then we've moved too far away from the Vanguard Bannerman, but here this is another great Ascension pack. It's got the high quality 2-drop and the high quality 3-drop. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, here's what the payoff is in part in the Emperor's Diaz. Also have a Sandswept Tomb that's made an appearance. It's pretty tough here. Like, of course, the Sandswept Tomb plays much better with the Scouts, and it plays much better with things like Relentless Pursuit, but it's also really expensive. But I think, if these Ascension packs are going to keep showing up and we may get ourselves into like token attacks, I think I'm just going to roll the dice here with this single Sandswept Tomb, also coming in with the Weight of Judgment. Okay, all right. Well, it still continues on with the Sand Soldiers. The three Desert's Wraths is a bit much, but the Hierophant is extremely good, and I really like where this is starting to take us. Okay, then another tomb shows up, so we're getting hard punished for for passing on the Diaz. But no, this is a fine one. A Rockhopper is extremely good here. We're pretty well positioned to take a lot of advantage of these Rockhoppers between having the Chronomancers and the Hierophants and the Greenfang Wardens, and so pretty happy to get these picked up. Don't need any more Relentless Pursuits. I didn't stop to talk about him, but 2 Relentless Pursuits is again, it's enough. Okay, then here, nice little Grizzled Ranger pack. Happy enough to take it. Purify is not really a top-notch combat trick, but we can make something happen with it. Okay, this one is a little bit weaker. I'm kind of thinking of taking these Stalking Broodmothers just to kind of fill in for our top end. We do need a little bit more expensive cards. Sandswept Tomb alone is not enough to really do it. And so since there aren't any Sand Soldier generators here, I think I'm okay with this. It feels like a little bit higher value than trying to add Golden Ambassadors to our deck. Okay, and so here we got another Rockhopper. I really don't like Devoted Councils, but the Rockhoppers are just extremely good. It's a fairly easy take. And they had another Sandstone Tomb there that we just couldn't take. I mean, 2 of them is just too much. Drawing multiples of these is pretty painful. But, let's get this third Relentless Pursuit, I guess. It's not enough. We got just a handful of scout units. I think that'll be okay. All right. But we don't have enough dragons to ever do things with the Dragon Guard Lookout. I think we'll just have to take these value units here in the Redeemer and the Vanguard. Right, a last little trade. Happy to trade away the Confront for a back-to-back. We still need a little bit of top end in this deck, and then we have a lot of synergies with the back-to-back, so I'm pretty happy to get this one picked up. Okay, so let's see here. We, of course, got to go and turn something premium. Curious to what is even left at this point. I might as well just go ahead and click on the spells, because that's realistically what we're going to be getting here. Where are we at? Shurima, Demacia. Apparently got to click the common button. And let's see, I know we have a Purify. We definitely picked one of these. That looks like it. That's probably about the extent of it. So, all right. So sometimes it's not about being the best. It's just the best of what's left. And that's how you... I guess we could have leveled up the Shape Stone as well now that I'm seeing that. But I think this is okay. And so, yeah, we'll see how this plays out. We don't have... At this stage of the draft, we don't have the Sand Soldier generators that we really want. I'm just hoping that we're able to win one of these first couple games here, get to the next champion pack where we can pick an Azir, and then they should start to show up, hopefully. So we'll see how that plays out. And I think this is a reasonable keep. I really don't like mulliganing away champions in our opener in round 0, just because they're so high-powered. Could see a good argument for getting rid of Quinn, because we're not going to be able to take advantage of her until turn 6, but this Chronomancer into Sivir should be enough to help carry us into the mid-game here. And then the Hierophant will be a good draw, help us stay on curve. Oh, I thought we were on the evens. Oops. Okay, so that was slightly backwards with some of these comments I made, but I think this will be okay. We got K-Trizzle. Sure. Here comes the trade if you want it. Interesting. So I wonder what this means. Well, it's not that surprising that he would have like another 3/3 in his hand, but it seems like he's intending to kind of like play on curve and deal with this kind of unit. Alright, so he's a touch awkward. I don't really want to get Sivir involved with this, so let's just pass, let him get this attack. The thing that's unfortunate is we can't get a kill on him with either Weight of Judgment or the Quinn Bird. So if he wants to send it back, that's completely fine. We just go all in with our Desert's Wraths. I kind of like it. What else are we going to do with these things? We don't have any other ways to make Sand Soldiers, so I mean, if we can go ahead and just slam in this huge attack, get rid of his vulnerable things, it's about as good as things are going to be looking here. Get that 8 bomb in there. Okay. And it looks like we should be able to make reasonable use out of Quinn. Like if we need to Weight of Judgment down like the Screeching Dragon, kind of like that, and then we can try and hit Renekton with the Quinn Bird. This is awkward. This is what I'm talking about, not wanting a big bunch of copies of Relentless Pursuit. These are not going to do anything for a really long time. I guess we may be able to piece something together with Sivir, but kind of scary. Okay.
Nothing gets between me and my mark.
Let's see, we can technically get this Quinn flipping next turn. Well, not with the big boy coming down. It's kind of problematic. Need to just go ahead and get our units in. Let's pass. I think we're getting too much value out of this. We're in an extremely horrible spot here. We've basically drawn 4 dead cards, so not quite sure how we're going to get ourselves out of this. I was trying to like think if before this thing came down and really messed with our plans, I was kind of thinking that we'd be able to get 2 attacks in on the previous turn and then Relentless Pursuit this turn, and then maybe get 2 more attacks in and get our Quinn to flip. But it's looking like that's going to be a kind of a tall order. Ready to defend. Get in here. If we can get some Sivir attacks in with the Broodmother, it does give us some opportunities to quick attack this thing. So I'm curious if that's his line here with the Trifarian. He has so much mana and so few cards. I think this is going to get hit with like a Whirling Death, but yeah, there's just we can't just be taking this gigantic hit right here at the end of the game. Yep. All right. Well, here come all the sick combos. We'll have to see what we can do with this. We have some rallies. I was really hoping to have a scout unit in the mix with this as well, but We can chunk in some damage. Oh. Oh, this will get spell shielded.
Smell that? A bite to cook it.
Maybe we'll get to take some of this down.
A delicious challenge. A morsel of
He's getting pretty close to dead. He knows that these aren't going to be lethal attacks, but hopefully we can take down at least another one or two of these units. The Kai being able to block our sand soldiers, or the sandstone tomb things, is pretty painful. Okay. We can hook kill our Sivir, but then he can't actually kill us with these other cards. Sure how we're going to win this without her, though.
The hand of Noxus.
our city shines
Alright,
once
well, I think we're dead now that he's added the Darius. Just does something real dumb here. It's not what you're usually hoping for, just your opponent to do something real dumb.
Pride was my end, as it will be yours.
So we'll see. Again, that showed like my ultimate worries with how we got this deck drafted. We drew the 2 Desert's Wraths, the 2 Relentless Pursuits, and then the 2 1/6s. Just way too much of our hot garbage, and we got to get these cards traded out. So again, I think if we can manage to win the second game, then we have a lot of potential opportunities to have a really strong deck here. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if something falls short. But with this, we have 3 Relentless Pursuits. That's way too much. I'm glad to get rid of one of these. The Voice of Risen should technically be like much stronger, especially if this deck comes together to be as sand soldiery as we want it to. But Purify is a legitimate combat trick, and so happy to just get rid of the Relentless Pursuit. It's way too cumbersome in this deck. Okay, got some Azir doing some Nightfalls. Alright, well, that looks like a start. These quick attack challenges in with Sivir on turn 5. See what we can do. Ugh. They have way too much of this utility stuff and not enough of the. Ugh, it's brutal. I mean, we can get some things going with this collection of units that we have, but this is fairly scary.
From Saikal to Kalamanda, we stand together.
At least the way that this will shape up is we can play the Grand Plaza on his turn. I assume he's not going to be able to interact with the Hierophant well.
Coming through.
Then we can Grand Plaza next turn, and then we can get the guaranteed quick attack challenge onto his Rock Bear, and then we can also Relentless Pursuit to perhaps take something else down with Sivir. So we should have a pretty strong comebacky kind of turn starting next turn. May not want to Relentless Pursuit, but we certainly have the option.
By my side.
By the moon's crescent blade.
Taking some damage. Fairly devastating if he has a a combat trick, and he's able to Diana down the Hierophant. Oh, this is it. Interesting. Okay. Let's buy some time. And then I don't think we want to play Sivir anymore. We get this Green Fang Warden Grand Plaza attack onto Diana. Can we then retake down the Rock Bear? I guess that's the only like deciding factor here. I mean, we could also look to just add Grizzled Ranger and do a similar thing. Where we Grizzled Ranger into Diana, get the Rock Bear, send the Rock Bear into, or the, what do you call the Badger Bear into the Rock Bear. We could also get a Relentless Pursuit attack after that. I think that's okay. Let's hang on to the Sivir for a little while. It doesn't feel like he has a trick or a way to interact. Like, I'm surprised that he played Diana and then just didn't do anything with her.
The oasis of the dawn flows again.
Sure. Okay.
Moonlight guide me.
You over there.
Works for me. So yeah, we'll skip on playing Relentless Pursuit. We can we can try to do something here in the future with the Sandswept Tomb, Relentless Pursuit, or something, or whatever. We'll have something happening. It's fine. This is Sivir. 17 reputations. Kind of wanting to see if we can't eventually get to the point to where we're able to like play Green Fang Warden and Relentless Pursuit on his turn, so we get our attack token back. It's fine. I don't think we need a Green Fang Warden here just yet. Our Hierophant should shut down the rest of this board.
Into the future.
The waters flow once more. Shurima is reborn.
When life returned, we knew
Flip.
you had too.
The flip on the attack, but this isn't enough to give a bonus to anything. So let's say he attacks with everything except a Zir. He wants to hook the Badger Bear with this thing. This is fine. We're good to just add the Chronomancer to this board. Yep, another Green Fang Warden's kind of interesting. I think that's good. So this puts us in a spot to where next turn we can play both Sivir and Green Fang Warden, get all those juicy hooks in, and then turn after that we can try to do the Relentless Pursuit Green Fang Warden. Sivir is still strong enough to take down this Azir as well. She's going to have 6 attack when she comes down due to the Grand Plaza. But we should prevent some of this. Care about putting damage onto this thing? Like, we can't... We have to eventually, like, put something in front of it, right?
Don't touch it.
Maybe we do this. So we can at least take it down with the Green Fang Warden.
What do you see?
So leaves him with 3 mana. Not too many combat tricks he could interact with Sivir with.
Ready, boy?
Before the order.
Accept your destiny, Sivir.
You really don't know me.
Okay, so we can deliver quick attack and spell shields to this other stuff, right? If we do this. That's the extent of what we want to do. No real reason to send our 3/3 into his 4/5. Beautiful.
Blood or gold, I always get my share.
Alright, well we're gonna get this big time memery going next turn. And so next turn we can add the tomb, add the warden, and do the relentless pursuit and get a ton of attacks in. That should hopefully be enough to close this out. Invoke into the invoke.
I've become who I was always meant to be.
Come on.
Here comes some top-notch memery about to happen here.
The Emperor commands, the land obeys.
Let's get our tomb. May still not want to attack into this. Let's do a little bit of something, I guess. Okay.
Some help, please?
I'll allow it. Ooh, it's not like a like an ideal play. Gonna flip. It's getting close. It's not gonna. We're not gonna reputation this turn.
Oh, where that came from.
Okay, and then the rest of these hooks aren't as fantastic, but
Danger.
Sivir's still a good attack. This is fine. I don't think adding the spell shields down here really does anything. So, get in like that. Takes him to 5. Man, do we want to enter Sanctum? Probably. Being able to spread this stuff out on Sivir is huge. There's a good chance we'll want to add in. If we draw a unit, there's a good chance we'd want to add that unit next turn anyways. So. A little bit of Challenger. Yeah, Spell Shield. Let's see, Fearsome's not going to do anything here, so wasn't a super exciting pickup, but hopefully it's enough to get the job done here.
Wait for me.
Got 5 on board and the Sand Soldier coming down.
Open your eyes.
Got him. Whoop whoop. Alright, cool. So we got to do some of the cool stuff we were pursuing. That's the idea behind the deck was at least kind of showcased in that game. We got now looking for the Azir. And so this is a pretty weak one. I don't really want any of these cards, but I think if we're going to try and find the Sand Soldier cards that we want, we're just going to have to add Azirs to our deck. And so this is the we're going to hope for some good trades because we have a lot of real weak points into this one. Off we go. There's the Azir Menace everyone's talking about. So we'll see how this shapes up for Expedition. We can full mulligan everything here. If you're not familiar with the changes in the 2.9 patch, the the Inspired Marshal, the then 4-cost or 5-cost unit that gave your units +2 attack, now costs 6 and lost a point of toughness, so it only has 5 health. And then they also nerfed the 4-mana Blade Dance unit to be 5 cost. Gave it a point of health or something, but gonna yeah, we're gonna have to just rise into this. Sucks to spend the 3 mana on it, but and is what it is. Do have some reasonable blockers coming up in these devoted councils, so should be able to buy some time here. As long as he's not like producing an Emperor's Diaz, I don't super care about what he's doing here. So we'll wait on Azir. We're just all about buying time at this point of the game, so I think that's okay. This isn't worth a risk of an attack.
Someday you see.
6 punch in, but then we can still block his sparring students for the follow-up attack. Would we rather just play Desert's Wrath here? Kinda like the Desert's Wrath. Okay. Now I think we're going to kind of chase down the same strategy. If we drew like an early play, that would be ideal. Ooh, Chronomancer was just like the actual perfect draw. I think we probably should have done this the last time. He's never going to play like a Twin Disciplines onto this. Okay, Relentless Pursuit, Sandswept Tomb are never a go. I think the Rockhopper's okay though, just as a means as a unit to put down on the cheap.
Our city shines once more.
Okay. Maybe starting to recover here. He opens on us, that would be good. We can back to back into that. I think this is more likely that we just get like a Rockhopper Azir down or something this turn.
Traditions are lost if not passed on.
Sun's beneath me and wind's behind me.
Seems pretty low value. I guess he's just trying to get in on the sparring students, but feels like he's gonna play another unit. If he just attacks into us here, that's pretty good for us. Pretty close to getting these things to flip and gaining some of this health. We get this Azir down. Right, here's the big decisions of 2021 being made right now, right before our eyes. Really? That was the big decision? Do I want to play a flipped Azir? That's pretty tough.
Shurima, your emperor has returned.
And with him, our greatest years.
I don't think he'll actually attack with him though. We'd like, if he does, we want to put some damage on it so we can try and take him down next turn with a Sivir or with the Stalking Broodmother. I guess if we're gonna send Broodmother into him, it's not as big of a deal, but I suspect he's going to attack with him. Oh, and he leaves the Greenglade Elder behind. That's very good for us.
Your emperor commands. Shurima is
Okay, so I know we can put our 1/6 in front of his 5/2. So that's going to be an easy one. Probably want to protect our Azir. We take him to 6. Then we can still take him down with Broodmother next turn. Got to prevent down here. Okay, that seems fine. So, as long as he doesn't hit us with a Blade Dance next turn, then we should be looking pretty okay. I don't think that's too big of an ask, is it? No Blade Dance? It's pretty painful. We have to attack. We can get this mana? Or can we just say live next turn with the Vanguard? I don't think so. Because he can just like open attack on us next turn with the 2 units. What's that going to be? 3, be 6. We have to block Azir and the 5. For the 10, we don't have good blocks on either of those. We're going to take 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Destiny calls.
Okay.
It is time. Tell the people what you have seen today.
The unfortunate thing with this sequence now is we can't back to back and play a 4-cost unit. Play Green Fang Warden if we get an opportunity. This has to just be an open though. There's no way he's gonna play a unit before he attacks. Why do you have 6 health now? Oh, these things heal your champions and Nexus too. Oh. I didn't even know that piece of text existed. Push your units in the middle. That's what you do with this deck. You just push them in the middle. There you go. So if we say these are all 3s, we have to block either of these. So we can take like 6 and 5 would be 11. So we can let the 2 sparring students and this thing go through and we'd be at 1. What if we do say like we can make this block, then we can back to back and take something else down and then block a 6? Where does that get us? 2? Okay, we need this one here. Okay. Let's see what you got. This is apparently the largest decisions in the world. This is like the most straightforward deck that has come into the game in quite a long time. Okay. That one shouldn't do anything. Alright, then I don't think there's a real reason to be adding Green Fang Wardens here. If he has the Blade Dance, we've just lost the game anyways. So, that kind of is what it is.
Blessings of abundance.
The Grand Plaza, you say? This man is so completely awkward for us this game. I'm thinking just playing like the Grand Plaza and Double Bird. Be able to take down both of his units, but we probably really want to be getting scout attacks here. But, like, does Sivir ever matter? Probably not. I don't have to be taking these units down. If we do this thing again where like we play Stalking Broodmother and it just gets popped by Homecoming, it's such a bad spot for us to be in.
What do you see?
Let's go about it this way. We'll add the Green Fang Orden and add... We should probably just add Double Bird. See what he does.
Would you wish to learn?
Stand down.
The flipped Sivir is just not going to be enough. Okay. But importantly, again, we do get to gain 2 more health off of the Devoted Council. That could be quite the lifesaver.
Scatter.
Double Bird. Then the reason I didn't want to attack with the bird here, this is one of these spots that we run into to where we know our opponent can get fully wide, and so we want to be able to come out here and like if we take down 2 of his units with these 2, it's very easy for him to get back up to 6 units, whereas that's something kind of tough for us to come back from. Our blocks here, not very good, but let's see. We want to just like let 2 of them through. That's probably enough to kill us.
Away with you, stranger.
Someday you'll see.
Let's do this. That unit can survive. Put you here, you're gonna die.
You dare.
All to 2. Right, probably good as that's gonna get. Gonna play the Azira Rise plan again, get some more damages in. Oh, okay. Alright, well, let's start out and see if we find a Quinn. Well, we have a couple of options for next turn, I guess. We can, if we want to Grand Plaza this turn, we probably need to get... I'm kind of just thinking if like we want to Grand Plaza and Sivir and then look for a card next turn, how does this end up looking out? Like we can play both Sivir and Golden Ambassador this turn. Maybe this is how we do it. See if we draw Quinn. Did not.
Shurimans, I have waited millennia to hear your cheers.
Don't quite care about Sivir getting leveled up by the Grand Plaza. I'd rather be able to pick and choose our targets with the Stalking Broodmother, I think.
Blood or gold, I always get my share. Nothing's lost. It's just waiting to be found.
Okay. He's gonna play Blade Dance. Make us go through all this work, and he's just gonna throw down a random Blade Dance here at the end. Let's have an absolute ton of mana, but I think we've dodged around Homecoming about as best as we can.
Time is money.
See what we see. So
Interesting. You get a Doomkeeper on the board. Then there's Quinn. Ever want to get the Quinn bird attacks in as opposed to Stalking Broodmother? If we do, we can't play the Grand Plaza. I don't think I like that. Grand Plaza helps with our Sand Soldier attacks as well when our opponent's at 6. So we'll see. We'll see how low they tap down. I guess there's no difference in adding Broodmother and Quinn at this point, so we'll just add Broodmother.
Arda's gonna make a meal of them.
Feel like we're going to get hit with Homecoming here. It seems like that's the logical course of action, the way this has played out. He's going to play Homecoming on Doomkeeper is what I'm suspecting.
ready, boy.
So is this attack ever worth it now just to get this scout hit in? We get the extra shot from the Grand Plaza? I don't think so.
Danger pays.
Greater things await.
These blocks here are horrible. Well, you can still get that like Ruthless Predator block onto our scout unit, so maybe we pull that one back.
We go.
This is fine.
This pay by the hour. Crumble. Quit struggling.
Stand firm.
Gonna fall to 1. Sure. Can't replay it though.
Glorious sacrifice.
Alright, let's see how the final turn goes.
Rain of sand.
Can we do this? No, we die if we do that.
We Demacians are no easy prey.
Because he would have 4 units in total, because this is going to count as 2 units.
By my side.
We're just dead, aren't we? Damn it. Boo. You 1 damage short.
Wrap 'em up tight.
F.
Make it worth my while.
So close.
Drown in our cheers.
Taking 2 either way.
Faithless creature.
Not here, not now.
Damn. Oh, it's always brutal losing these games that take like a fucking hour to play. This was always my problem with Hearthstone and getting your way into Legend. You play against Control Warrior. If you don't win by the 6th turn, you just concede the game. We could have done some things a little bit differently in there, though. We got really punished by having extremely awkward Stalking Broodmothers, but I can't imagine on that like last turn. Like right there at the end, we could have just like not played Broodmother. Like we could have, just played Quinn instead of playing the Broodmother um, combo with this. Like it's just our board was too awkward to make that turn work out. But moving on, I don't want these Devoted Councils in our deck. This card is trash, and so I would kind of like to drop to 1 Relentless Pursuit, but getting rid of these Devoted Councils is just a little bit more important, I think. So, welcome to the club, First Blade. All right, off we go. Let's see if we can't salvage this one. This one's too cool to end it 4 games. You got to get this up to at least 10, right? Doing the cool stuff. That's what life's all about. I didn't sit around and just make these videos to do math problems. So, I mean, nobody wants to do that boring shit. Just put all your units in the middle and see if you did enough. Hey, we played this guy earlier. Right, so let's see what we can do. Again, kind of cool to hang on to Sivir. Let's get rid of this other stuff and look for some of our cheaper plays. Right. Got this dude out here stream sniping me and stuff. I know we aren't on the Twitch, but probably he's probably found a way. Hijacked my webcam or something. Okay. Take that 4-piece. Get that 4-piece nugget in here. All right. Interesting. I think we probably just want the Rock Hopper here, just to give us a way to interact with whatever he's doing. Could just go for the big boy, but I kind of like this idea of having Rock Hoppers and being able to either follow up with the Green Fang Wardens or Sivir. So that'll be okay.
See what I've learned?
Keep your distance.
Interesting. Okay.
See what we see.
Doomkeeper Part 2.
Would you look at this place?
Diana. That's about as bad of a unit as he could have played, but
Turn back.
alright.
I will be heard.
Azir's command.
So we'll get in here and prevent this damage. He's down to only having 3 cards left, so the longer this game goes on, I suspect we should be stronger. I think it's like he may have had an invoke earlier. I don't quite remember. But okay, picking up Azir is kind of interesting. It's like we were going to want to get this Desert's Wrath going. It's just a matter of when. I think this is okay for now. We can still use the tokens to hook his Diana. And then next turn, probably going to have to play a Green Fang Warden as a means to block the Rock Bear. But I think on our next attack, we should be able to get this this Azir plus Green Fang Warden thing going because we have the 6 mana. Looks pretty good to me. He has the Pale Cascade here. This kinda sucks, but it's not that horrible. This is not a particularly intimidating Diana. But this is a reasonably strong open attack if he wants to hit us for 7, 8, 9, take us to 5. Ugh, maybe we should have gone for the Green Fang Warden just to make sure we have a blocker. It's just too much damage if we don't double bird. Okay. I mean, at least next turn, this Diana does still have the hook. And so we can look to start getting a bigger board out of this. With the Green Fang Warden getting a hook kill on her, I think we can hopefully do some good stuff here.
What do you see?
Spells. What spells have we played? Desert's Wrath? Is Desert's Wrath our only spell? Okay. I guess that's... I was like, that seems pretty horrible, but I guess if you do have the Emperor's Diaz on the board, then it's not that bad.
We protect these woods as they protect us. We go. Or with that kid.
Alright, well, we're gonna get blasted again. Unless he just doesn't open on us. This has been a pretty brutal start. We just can't get our footing down this game. Sand Soldiers? Yep. We just dead. Nah, he's not gonna have a full board here. Or he can't, he's not gonna have 7 units here, I should say. Oh, I forgot we didn't have our blocker, though. We just dead? We're just dead, aren't we? Damn, it's too awkward. Alright. Well, good game, my man. Just couldn't get enough out in front of that. That was weird. I don't think we sequenced that wrong. It's just we... I mean, the Diana really worked us over, and so maybe the better idea would have just been to come in and play Sivir and hook Diana with Sivir, as opposed to trying to make that Sand Soldier play. I didn't realize that we were going to fall like so super far behind with her coming in, getting, you know, the hook for the free kill, getting the Pale Cascade kill, and then taking an attack from a future turn. That was just too much for us to come back from. That was fairly problematic. So, anyways, I mean, this deck, it didn't come together that well. We knew that we had some, like, real problems with this deck with our numbers, and I just wasn't able to fix it. I was kind of hoping that, you know, if we get a little bit lucky in the early game, if, you know, if you're a 55% favorite over your opponent and you can just kind of win, like, lose-win the first round, lose-win the second round, and then get a win in round 3, and then you're kind of, like, shaped up to making some trade picks to cycle out these cards that aren't really on theme with what you're doing. But this is definitely one of these drafts to where things kind of got away from us. And so I think the idea here still is okay, using the scouts with the Sand Soldiers. It's probably just not okay to do it starting out with Sivir. And so I think that was probably our mistake here. I think if we start out with Quinn and then we pick up either Azir, whether or not it's token attacks or Ascension, or if we pick up Renekton, or if we pick up Nasus, so that we can get access to the vulnerable cards, that I think it's probably okay. I just think we probably don't want to do this with Sivir. We don't want to do it with Talia. Once Zillion becomes a thing in like 2023, then we probably don't want to do it with him either. But I think that was kind of our big mistake right from the start, was we knew we were getting into kind of a shoddy card pool, and we really got punished for it. And so, given the champion choices that we had, though, I don't completely remember what it was. I know it was Sivir and Disruption Darius and something else, and it doesn't seem like that something else was particularly interesting. But that's kind of a rough start. But yeah, we knew that we had the problems. We didn't have the Sand Soldier generators that we needed for the scout attacks. We got stuck with these 3, where are you at? 3 Desert's Wraths, but then we didn't have any of the Sand Soldier generators. We had too many Relentless Pursuits. We have these horrible cards like Inner Sanctum and Payday. Like, we had to take an Arise just because we took an Azir. Like, this, the all amounts of this deck are just completely awkward. We have like half of a deck that we're okay to draw, and then the rest of it is pretty trashy. And so, it wasn't quite powerful enough to carry us further. And so the only like real regret I have through the draft and like chasing down this style of deck was that we let that one Emperor's Diaz go for the Sandswept Tomb, and then we saw like back-to-back Sandswept Tombs in the next two packs. And so maybe that was our mistake. I don't know if that was just RNG or if that was actually a mistake, because I think when it comes down to it, if we're gonna have just like one of these, I would just rather have like the one Sandswept Tomb. But if we'd known like how deep we were gonna get into Sand Soldiers, I wanted the Diaz, and so I think that was probably pretty mistake heavy right there. I think that we let that get away from us, and then but otherwise, it's really tough when you're drafting this Sivir and you have all these reputation packs come up, and that card pool is just so bad. And I don't want anything to do with like the Rock Bears and a lot of the themes in Sivir, and so I think that was probably a part of the problem as well. So a lot of problems going on in this one, and not a lot to fix it, and so we just didn't quite get the opportunity. And so, if you do look to draft this on your own, I still think this is a pretty strong, well, not pretty strong, it's a strong-ish strategy. People do use this in constructed with like Azir Lucian. It's a little bit more just focused on using the Sand Soldiers to flip your Lucian and then having a Relentless Pursuits as opposed to, say, using the Scout package. But I think the Scout package is good enough for Expedition. But the problem is that, the units that we're really looking for and really want are going to be basically Azir, and they're going to be Emperor's Diaz. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm upset we let that Emperor's Diaz go. That would have been extremely powerful in our deck. And just having something cheap to throw down as far as these kind of like do-nothing things go would have been a real nice. And so yeah, we had too many of these just like real do nothing things. That's still in our deck. We have the Devoted Council, the Inner Sanctum. We have too many Relentless Pursuits. I would rather have one than two, but two is probably better than zero. We have all the Desert's Wrath without the activators. We have the Golden Ambassador and a non Allegiance deck. And then we just have some weaker cards up here at the top end. And so kind of problematic all around. But nonetheless, I thought it was cool. I had fun with this one. We did get to pull off the serious memery and and one of those earlier wins, which always feels pretty good. And so I at least had a good time with this trial, even though it wasn't the most successful trial as far as wins are concerned. But that is going to do it for us today. I think we got a reward or two to click on. And so let's click on the event pass. Look at this. Just load, my man. All right. It looks like we're done with the event pass. Probably get some new rewards here in about 2 weeks, it looks like. And so if you're here for the rewards, then that's a little bit unfortunate. Let's see what else we got. Some kind of essence pouch. Whoop whoop, 25 essence. And then we got to click on the old weekly vault. Ready to claim. Right. Something cool. Wow. Oh, Trail of Evidence. I thought Trail of Evidence was a core set card that came out a little bit later. I was like, man, it's so weird. I think we're probably still at like 99% of the foundation set or the core set, whatever you call it. It's a little bit short there. Of course, we're never going to go and craft those cards. We'll probably get the entirety of the set premium before I go out there and craft those cards, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, it's something cool is what we're asking for. Some epics and things. All the Adaptatrons today. No intentions of playing that ever, but, you got to add it to the collection. All right, looks like that is going to do it for us today. And so, I hope you all learned how to, relentlessly pursue your Sand Soldiers. It's a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.